Welcome to the game of the week. Our ELO has finally gone back above 1300 after that significant drop down from 14 to 1200. So I am still trying out new strategies, and today I am practicing just a simple scouts into knights. I'm really a big fan of archers, and I know that build order and the game plan pretty well, but I've never really played just the simple scouts into knights. So I get the general idea behind it is that you make a few scouts at the beginning of feudal, and you harass your opponent, put all the attention on his base, and then you quickly try to wall up, don't produce any more military, invest all of that into economy, and get a faster castle time. My opponent here is also playing as the Franks. I am playing as the Franks here. I figured that would be a very simple, straightforward civilization to practice scouts into knights on. I played some games with the Franks when I first started playing ranked, and lost most of them. So now I am coming back to this civilization with quite a bit more knowledge of how the game works, and I'm hoping to put that into practice. So my opponent and I are up to feudal age pretty much at the same time, similar resources collected, so at this level the Dark Age is pretty well ironed out. We got 7 or 8 seconds of idle TC for each of us, so the game plan is going to be pretty similar for both of us. I'm now putting down my stable, and he is harassing my villager here at the front, and in the last second I take down his scout, so that was a really bad fight for him, and I get my spear out in time for the scout to be dead, so not a lot is going on there. So we're going to start producing our scouts, and I am going to start walling up the base. My opponent is going for pretty early walls, earlier than I started, so my economy, my resources collected are significantly higher than his. Well, not too significantly, but I invested in a few extra farms, whereas he invested in the walls. I take out another scout there. He's got a spear to defend now, and he's got this last section that he needs to wall up before he is free of my harassment. So, not looking, again, what else is new for me? He's got the second spear. He comes in with another scout, and he is going to try to place this last wall before his base is completely walled. So now I have 3 scouts. I'm trying to keep them alive as best I can, and when he comes forward with the spears, I realize that there's not much I can do. I had been, in previous videos and over the past few weeks, practicing a scouts into knights build order, scouts into archers during feudal, and this might have been a good time to go for that because I saw that he was investing relatively significantly into the spears, but I now have my walls down, just finishing them at the very last moment here, so he can't get in, and I am going to rush my way up to castle. Meanwhile, I'm just scouting his base, trying not to lose these pretty low HP scouts. He's trying to get in. He sees that I am full walled, but there's not much he can do, assuming that I'm paying attention and am doing these repairs in a timely fashion. So this guy's just gonna mosey his way over and repair that wall that my opponent's beating on. I'm gonna come over here, just cause some trouble. He's doing a good job of house walling up. He's going for forging, so he is very much investing into feudal, while I have my eye on castle, and once this next villager comes out, then up to castle we go. I think I forgot to build the blacksmith last minute, which is why I was a little delayed, decided to pick up gold mining along the way, and he is not going to be able to get in. I'm being diligent with these repairs, and I'm just harassing here. I figure he's going to come with spears at any moment, so I believe I'm paying attention, and of course I'm not. Yeah, what else is new? So I lose 2 scouts, so I have 1 full HP and 1 at pretty much 1 HP. He is still beating on this same house. All it is making me do repairs. So now I've invested into 2 spears. I am up to castle about a minute and a half before he is. So he's coming forward with everything. He is going for his 6th spear. So he is convinced that I am going for knights, which I am. I've added this second stable. So I'm up to castle again, a minute and a half. We're going to go for bowsaw. We're going to get the armor upgrade on the scouts, and he is up to 7 spears, 3 more in queue. He's looping around my base, seeing where he can find damage. I overchopped, but thankfully housed that up before he could get in. So still, there's not a great place for him to get in. Now I'll have to send a villager over here to repair. I still have my spears in my base that I can use to defend. So I'm going to kind of let him get in so that he'll get hit by the spears, and my knights will be out by that time to chase him down. He's not looking. I take out 2 of his scouts. He's got 2 more here. He runs away, so I'm just going to patrol in this area and get a few more hits in there, and now my knights are out so that they can chase him. Even though he is going for my villagers, it's not going to be too bad. I now can match the mobility with my knights. My opponent is going for the second TC pretty early, whereas I am investing a lot more into military. As I have seen all of these spears, I decided to go for a siege workshop, and I'm going to have a backline of scorpions. It would be too much for me to do a tech transition into crossbow or even skirmisher, so I figure that a transitional unit like siege with the scorpions would be good for me at this moment, and I'm going to continue massing up knights. I now have 13, and my opponent is going for knights as well. Again, I'm on the 1 TC, he is now on 2, so I'm going to have to do damage, and he's got a mix of knights and pikemen now. So he's gotten an armor upgrade for the, basically all of the feudal upgrades for his units at this point. And I'm just massing my army, waiting for a few scorpions so I can more confidently go forward into his base. And we're just kind of sitting here. Now he attacks the front of my base. I've got a good mass of guys. I see that. I'm waiting for a scorpion to come out. I can just take this fight against the spearman because he was apart from his knights, and I just clear them. That was my first ever patrol stack, and it feels devious, and I hate myself for it. Don't worry. Yeah, I just rue the day that I was born for patrol stacking, but it is what it is. So I've got 21 knights, he's got 9 and 2 spears left over, so he is hurting in terms of military. I do not see these guys passing by, so I go forward to his base and he tries to go back to mine. I've now got my spears from feudal age, and now the scorpions are coming out, and I'm adding in my second TC. I'm trying to break in here. It is a tight spot, so he's going to try to re-wall behind, and he's going to send his army back. So I will see this eventually. I'll push forward, try to break in. He knows that he doesn't have the numbers to fight off this force immediately, so he's going to mass up in his base, and I'm just trying to take the middle with this Knight-Scorpion combo. So we're both on 2 TC right now. I'm running back around to these less defended palisades, and one day I will start hitting his walls. There we go. So he is going for, are these palisades or stone wall? Yeah, a row of palisades behind, but I get in before he can get to that, so I kill some of his villagers. I am on stand ground, so I'm not being as diligent to hit the halbs as I can. I think I just switch back to aggressive. Do another attempt at a patrol stack, but he is kind of, yeah, bad micro on my part. I am trying to just take out this army, and he has now added the 3rd TC, so I'm running through with a few guys to harass his eco. My upgrades, at least at this point, are less than his because I don't have forging, and we both have +2 armor. So I'm just using this army to harass, and then again, in the middle, try to mass up for a future push. I've got this TC on stone, so my goal is to go for a forward castle soon, which is why I want to control the middle so much, and he is able to clear up my force. So he's still got a group of knights, he's got 12, I've got 14, pretty evenly matched there, and I've got the scorpions behind to fight off any halbs. So now he is slowly coming into the middle, and I'm trying to hold the middle. So now my scorpions are going to start firing, and I have a few feudal spears and the knights. I'm taking some of the relics at this point. I wanted monks out so that I could try to contest his knights. And he's going for a 4th TC and stonewalling at the back. So my opponent is really investing into eco. And I'm investing a lot more into military. So again, the impetus is on me to do some damage. So now I'm going to go forward with this army. We're on 500 stone, so soon I'm going to send forward some villagers to try to place a forward castle. And we're just battering the front of his base, taking out a few villagers. He's trying to convert with the monks. and he will probably get a conversion or two. Yeah, he gets both conversions. With the Scorpions in the middle, I am doing some extra damage to these knights, and I'm going to eventually win this fight, even with the conversions, and now I can place the foundation for the castle. Here come my villagers forward. He's trying to hit my villagers, and I'm going to try to pursue his knights, still get up this castle. The Scorpions are kind of left alone here, so he's definitely able to take advantage of that. That was very wasteful of me, but this castle is going to go up. So again, he's ahead on economy. I am ahead on military, still at 2 TC, and going for a forward castle as we speak. So this castle is certainly going to go up. He is now down to 2 knights, 2 monks, and a spearman. So militarily, I am significantly ahead. And this castle will go up. It ranges this first TC and some of these forward buildings, his barracks to produce spears, his blacksmith to get upgrades. I'm circling around, seeing what's what, seeing that he added another TC. So I'm just running through, doing a little scouting. And I am going to go here to the wood line with these other villagers. Now, I think this was a big macro mistake that I made right here. I couldn't decide whether I wanted to just have this castle here and then go up to Imp and start trebbing him, or if I wanted to go fully into Castle Age. If so, as I'm producing more knights like I am, what I should have done is put down a forward siege, especially once I saw this castle. I'm trying to deny it, but he's coming out with quite a lot of villagers, and I haven't sent this force over. These knights just kind of happened upon them, so now I realize this, and I'm trying to send more knights. I really should have just gone over with everything to make sure this castle didn't go up, but he's coming in with his force, and he's going to be able to get it up. So again, at this point, I should have realized I have a castle, he has a castle, but I have the military advantage, so what I needed to do is take these villagers here, just put a forward siege. Again, my first siege workshop is way back at my base, so that wouldn't do me much good. I could have continued producing knights, I could have put out a ton of rams, and just rammed down his castle and continued into his base, while my opponent is going for his 5th TC under the castle. I'm trying to steal this gold vein. He's going to find it with his knights, and my army is a little out of position, so he's able to snipe quite a few villagers. So I'm on 3 TC, he is on 5 TC. He is definitely aiming for Imp, and he clicks up right now. I'm not too far behind, I just need the gold, so I have stopped with the knight production, and I'm trying to get my second building. I believe that's a university there, market, so I can balance out my economy. That's right, I've got the castle, I don't need a second building. So we'll get up the market. We've gotten enough gold at this point, so Imperial and getting my eco upgrades. So again, I think the fact that I have a castle right here, not doing much other than just hitting his TC, is not the kind of push that I would have wished for. A forward siege right here, 5 rams, just smash his castle and beat his military with mine. Again, I have 18 knights, he has 13. He's just hiding in his base, and I'm letting him free boom. So I think that was a big mistake on my part. So I figure he's going to get up to Imp before I do. So I'm not going to make any more forward castles. I'm just going to castle the resources, take the stones, take the golds on the side. And he's got this one castle here. I'm kind of running under, trying to cause some problems, but not finding too much damage, and in a sense kind of throwing away some of the HP on my knights. I probably could have brought forward my monks to do some healing. Where is my monastery? Right here. We've got 2 relics, so I guess my opponent has 2. And where is the last? Right here that I haven't picked up yet, close to my base. So that was an oversight on my part. And again, we're just not doing as much damage as I would have liked to. So he's up to Imp, I'm up to Imp 40 seconds later. I'm getting fletching from my castle, and now he is going to be able to do the Cavalier upgrade. He's got 9 pikes in queue, so he is going to invest into a mix of knights and pikes. I think that was another shortcoming of this game, is that I invested into my power unit, the knights, definitely, but I didn't go for a trash unit, and I think my transition into Imperial Age is one of the big weaknesses in my play. Once I click Imperial, I really should start throwing down production buildings, getting my upgrades for my trash unit, and then have a front line and back line that can last me into later Imperial. But still, I'm only producing knights at this point. The Treb comes out, I'm going to try to hit his castle with it, but he's got the advantage with this Treb here, and I don't have any villagers forward because this last villager, who is on the gold mine, is getting attacked by pikes. He now sends them forward. We'll take a battle here. He's got the hill, at least for part of it, and the pikes are coming in and are able to attack my knights with that, so I'm going to have to run back into the safety of my castle, and he can very easily snipe my Treb. We've both gotten the Cavalier upgrade. I'm now getting +4 armor, and again, investing fully into the Cavalier and eventually Paladin. Whereas my opponent is very smartly investing into that, but also building the infrastructure for soon-to-be Halbs. So he's got his 3 stable, and where are his barracks? Yeah, he's building the barracks at the side, so I guess that's 3 barracks, and now he goes and builds a TC on this stone that I was trying to steal from him. Again, building castles for these outside resources, and if he comes forward, which he inevitably will with his trebuchets that I've already seen, then I'm going to be well enough defended and hopefully have the infrastructure to put out trebs and defend my resources around the map. So he's getting all of his upgrades for the eventual Halbs, Squires, Gambesons, which I think only applies to the militia line, so maybe that was a knowledge check on his part. He is on 6 TC, and I am on 3. I have 119 villagers, and he has 92, so that's just a matter of still keeping your TCs running. I have 8 minutes of idle TC. My opponent has 50 minutes. So at a certain point, you got to think that it probably would have been better for him to throw down quite a few more farms around his existing TCs and just keep producing villagers. So now he goes for a middle-of-the-map castle on the hill. It's a really good position against this castle here that he sees. And I got this 1 villager castle that's going up in the back. I figure that was a safe one. So I've got the Paladin upgrade coming in now, 16 Cavalier versus my opponent's 23, and again, he has Spearmen now upgraded to Pikes. And he's got quite a lot of those. So again, he's got his power unit and a counter unit, whereas I just have my power unit, which was a big oversight on my part, and we will see how that plays out. So he's now economically ahead, and in terms of numbers, he's starting to get militarily ahead. So I'm producing trebuchets at home. I see this castle, and I know he's going to start pushing from it. He's just got a big army right here that he's going to try to take a fight with. He very smartly walls around his Treb so that I can't sneak by with my Paladin. So he has not clicked the Paladin upgrade yet. So again, in terms of my 1 unit, I am ahead of him, but he is upgrading into both of these units, his power unit and his trash unit. So I come in, seeing what's what. These Halbs end up wandering in, so soon I can take a fight with them, and my own trebuchet will come out, so I'll start trebbing down his castle. He's out of position, so I'm able to snipe some of these small numbers, so that was a good fight for me, and I just run back, take my advantage. This castle's going down. Definitely should have repaired with all of this stone that I had. Repairing castles is another weakness of mine. I just don't really think of it. Things like repairing castles or repairing mangonels or trebuchets. Yeah, I just don't think of it in the moment. And my guys are on stand ground. Thankfully, he doesn't run in, so I'm able to regroup. And I'm trebbing his castle. He's trebbing mine. That one goes down. And then we're just kind of dancing around each other here in the middle. That's where all of the action is happening. He's up to 109 villagers. I have 139. So again, for all of these TCs, I'm still economically ahead. I've collected almost 10,000 more resources than he has. I'm putting down the archery ranges. I'm trying to tech switch into skirms for a backline. But again, this is coming so late. And production out of 2 ranges is not great. You can see all of the floating food and wood that I have, and I'm kind of struggling for gold. There is one gold vein in the front of his base that he hasn't taken, but for the most part, the rest of the gold on the map is gone, so we're each relying on our 2 relics. Let's see if I picked up the 3rd. I did, so I have a slight relic advantage, but this fight in the middle, whenever it ends up happening, is really going to decide the game. My opponent is repairing his castle, as he should, and he's just kind of wandering into my units with his own, so I'm sniping off the ones where I can get them. 3 trebuchets against his 2, and now his paladin upgrade is about to come in, so he is going to look to take a fight then. So he is coming in, swooping around, sniping off these skirms. Again, I don't have them in large number, and he's going to collect his forces, and then we are going to go for our big fight. So both of us are coming in. My guys are a little out of position, so I'm not fighting with my full army, and now his trebs are going after my trebs. He takes a group of his paladin and goes to snipe the siege. He's got 40, I've got 37, so he has the advantage in that, but he has some of the halbs to kind of even out the fight for him. So even if I do end up winning this fight, I now have no trebs and nothing to push his castle with. And he sniped my trebs, he's fine. He doesn't need to win that fight because he's got a castle defending his own trebs, and he'll just slowly take down my infrastructure. So I'm trying to build more defensive castles at home, but falling further and further behind, trying to put out more trebuchets of my own, but now I'm taking a fight kind of even numbers against his paladin. He gets a surround on me. I'm trying to do my patrol stack again, and it works pretty well, so I take out some of his numbers. But again, there's just not really a good way for me to push into this castle and snipe his siege. I'm going to try. I'm pushing in at this moment and trying to take a good fight against it. Meanwhile, another defensive castle at home, and I'm still on these 2 ranges. I have 0 skirms on the field, so I'm not focusing as much as I should on my secondary trash unit. And now my numbers are dwindling. I have to run back again, and I think was that a TC he sniped? No, that was my initial siege workshop. I suppose if I were thinking of it, I could have gone for bombard cannons from that siege workshop, but again, I'm kind of playing new civs and not as used to all of the tech that they have. I'm going for masonry so that I can keep up these castles a little longer than I have been. I'm building some more of these archery ranges so I can produce more skirms. My opponent's got a castle up here, so he is just slowly creeping out from his base. My opponent has stopped producing vills, which was probably a bad call from him, but he's got such a superior military, and you'll see right here, if he ever goes on to aggressive stance, that he'll be able to take down my trebs and all of my military. And at this point, even though I have decent infrastructure, it's just going to be so hard for me to get back the numbers to be able to reclaim this area and fight off his army here. I've got 10 skirms on the field, 21 paladins. He's got 23 paladins, but quite a lot of halbs, which are going to do really well against my own paladins. And I'm trying to get in here and snipe the trebs, but he's doing a good job protecting them. There goes down one of my archery ranges. So I'm trying to put up some panic stables right here. Since he took down that, I figure, all right, more paladins is what I need. And I am down to like 12 or 13 military. I am trying to go for some sneaky trebs right here so that maybe I can hit this. But he's just cleared up all of my army in the middle, and the best I can do is try to produce into my stables and pop out with a big enough military. Still kind of hurting for gold. I'm selling resources intermittently. And again, he's just now running onto my infrastructure. I've got no military to beat him back, so just trying to produce into the stables as best I can. He's now going to come down here, see what's going on. I'm going to run back with these trebs because I don't want them to get hit. And he's wiping out a lot of my villagers here, setting up his own trebs, and is going to be taking out my stables. So things are not looking good. Even though I have some siege, I just have no units to be able to beat this back. 4 paladin in my stables, and my opponent has 30 paladin and 33 halbs. Constant production, so his His military population is looking really good. I'm still producing villagers at this point for some reason. I think it's just a habit. And look at all of this wood and food that I have. I could be producing skirms at this point, or I could have, if I teched into it, be producing halbs. So really a lost opportunity, and all I'm doing is producing paladins, and you can see that fight after fight, they're just losing. I'm trying to take down this one treb for what it's worth, and then I think my own trebs, where are they? Yeah, they're still hiding. So this is like a panic move that I'm doing right here. I'm moving them out and trying to hit this castle, whereas, again, in the middle, I got no chance. I got no way to take this back. Maybe I could have put some stables and archery ranges in the back. That would have been a safer place to try to mass up an army to push him. But now he's coming onto the front of my base. Soon he's going to be inside and raiding. He doesn't see this castle, so he goes for this TC on the gold. So he will be surprised by that. But he sees these trebuchets at the last minute, starts beating them down with villagers of all things. So I just got all of these undefended trebs, Hail Mary move on this castle. But he just says, okay, I'll just push into your base with all this military that I have, come with 9 paladin, and that'll be enough to clear up the trebs. So at this point, I am realizing it is pretty much over. There's not much that I can do. He'll get into my base soon. These relics, even though I have 1 relic advantage, are not going to do me much good in the late game because there isn't going to be a late game. I am pretty much dead at this point. He's now trebbing down these castles that I put on the side. His base is entirely untouched, and now he's putting down more production buildings, more stables right here, so that he can hit me from there, and in come the Paladins. And at this point, I just realized the game is over. There's nothing left I can do. He's going to raid all of my villagers, and I have barely any production buildings left to push him back. He's going for town patrol, because why not? Spend your res somehow. He's got a good bit of siege with the trebuchets. He's got plenty of halbs, plenty of paladin, and I realized that the game is over there. So it was a good game. I definitely had the advantage at the beginning of the game. I was able to play feudal really well, got up to castle significantly faster than he did. He invested into feudal a lot, going for foraging, and for me, since I was fully walled, all I had to do was repair a house to keep him out. So I was able to get out my knights quick, and then in Castle Age, I did a good push against him. He went for more economy with the second TC, and I went for the Siege Workshop, was able to push the front of his base, get that forward castle, and then I think there my decision-making started to slip. I could have produced a lot more knights, but I should have paired them up with a forward siege, gone for rams against this castle, or I should have stopped producing knights and gone up to imp and start trebbing him down. And then in the transition to imp, I should have gone for, I think once I saw his halbs, skirm is a pretty good backline. I don't think skirm was the wrong decision, but I should have put down like 10 ranges, started getting my upgrades early, and I just didn't. And you can see even from my food and wood count at the end of this game that all could have been converted into a really big military. So still learning the ins and outs of knight play, but it was a really fun game, really back and forth, and it's nice to play mirror civilizations and see what your opponent comes up with. So if you have any recommendations for how I could have played this game better, I'd love to hear them down in the comments, and thank you for watching.